With that being said, we were in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Apex. We had the veteran Gilbert Burns fighting Michael Morales. And you texted me right before the fight. You said before the KO, Morales had the frame like the thin, tall boxers with power, like Tommy Hearns, like Arguello, Zarate, Foster, Deontay Wilder, and others. And man, he did not waste any time to display that power. What a performance by him. He looked like the real deal. He looks like a problem and a real player in this welterweight division. And Michael Bisping said it on the broadcast after the fight. You talk about what a performance. I know Burns is 38 years old now, maybe a little shop-worn. He's been in a lot of tough fights, but nobody has done that to him. Morales destructs him 1 round. What'd you think of Michael Morales and his performance overall?
Yeah, those wiry guys, those tall, wiry, thin guys, he's built strong, don't get me wrong, but those wiry, tall guys, they get leverage, they get torque in their punches. Every one of them. I mean, they all the ones I mentioned, man, they hit you on top of the head, they fracture your ankles. Those guys, like the old, yeah, Richie likes that. He's smiling, like the old timers would say. And what I liked about him is he knows he can punch, he knows he can hurt you, and he behaves like a puncher. He goes right out there and he knows even the punches earlier that Burns took, he took some pretty good shots early, and a lot of guys might get a little thrown off and say, okay, let me go to this now, let me go box more, let me do this more. The guy handled my shot. Not Morales. No, he didn't. He had that understanding, that confidence, that belief of what he is. I'm a puncher. And even if a guy acts like the punch didn't hurt him, I know that it will. I know that maybe it even did. But he's such a veteran, he's not showing it. But I'm just going to keep doing it because I know what my power is. He knows what he is. I always say it is so important for a fighter to know what they are. Sounds so simple, so simplistic, but it's so important to have that identity. He knows he's a puncher. He knows, like I say, punches, are not made. They are born. He understands that, and he brings it. And he does it, he does it with good technique too. What I liked about him is not only the power and the finishing ability, when he got him hurt, but his eyes, that he saw the openings. Like Burns was covered up good. So what did he do? He aimed his shot behind the glove, where the opening would be there behind the ear, around the ear, instead of towards the chin that was blocked by the glove. So if he drew the traditional straight, and I know a lot of people would say, well, I want to see the straight punch. He looped his shots, but he looped them with a purpose, knowing that that's where the opening was. Those eyes combined with that power, with that attitude, with that identity, the understanding of what he is, right down to his bones. He's a problem. He's a problem. I mean, you're gonna have to have a hell of a defense, and counter the crap out of him, and hope that you can bang a little bit to slow him down. Otherwise, you got a problem.
Big problems. Yeah, I'm with you. He is a problem for anybody in that welterweight division. And it's been since April 2022 of the brutal fight that Gilbert Burns had versus Khamzat Chimaev. I wonder how much that took out of him. Again, I know he's 38 years old, but you always talk about no easy fights in UFC. Well, now, for Gilbert Burns, besides Morales, his 3 fights before that, Sean Brady, Jack Della, Magdalena, and Bilal Muhammad. The top 3 guys in the division. So, yes, he's coming up short, but he's still fighting the best of the best. We'll see what's next for Gilbert Burns. Maybe retirement at 38 years old.
But when you fight those kind of fights, you leave a part of yourself in the ring or in the cage. When Ali fought Frazier in Manila, those guys, they didn't come all the way home. part of them was left over there in Manila. Part of both of those great men. They were never the same. And the same thing, with the Burns. You couldn't be more on the button. I'm gonna fool around with you again. I joke with you and stuff, but I go into one of those movie things again with the De Niro movie. Analyze this. You good? You good? Because it's so true. All of Burns is not getting in the cage anymore because it's not all there anymore. It's that simple. I'm taking nothing away from Morales. But that's just a physiological fact with these fighters. A lot of people don't estimate that. They don't think about that. Why would they think about it, I guess? Whatever. But it is a fact. There's no doubt about it. And the last thing I'll say about Morales, as far as him now going to be tested at the higher levels, and they're all levels, and they come at you fast in a place called the UFC. They come at you fast, They should have a sign. Notre Dame football, they have a play like a champion today. They should have a sign. I'm going to tell Dana, put a sign up, in the UFC complex. No free lunch. because that is the truth. And for me, the one thing I add to Morales, if he's going to have that longevity, down the road, is he didn't have to show it against Burns yet, or in that fight, but learn how to fight tall. That's the one thing I want to know about him. Does he know how to use those great... I know he knows how to use his power. Does he know how to also use those great physical attributes of height and length and make it a little easier for himself and a little harder for opponents that don't have those assets by controlling the outside and making it even harder for them to try to get to him? And as I would always say, go through a bad neighborhood and mug them. If he starts learning to do that, well, I'll go back, like I said a few minutes ago. You got even a bigger problem.